Hey, I'm Vinh, and this is Seattle Eats, a food podcast from the Seattle Times and KUOW. Seattle has a reputation for expensive everything. Coffee, housing, and yep, dinner. The $200 per person bill at high-end restaurants is giving people heartburn. But hold your tums, things in fine dining are shifting. To keep customers, Seattle restaurants are going casual. Smaller bites, shared plates, cheaper menu options like burgers and fried chicken. And this week, I'll tell you about a few well-known spots that are nixing the fix in their pricey menus, which should be a good thing for your wallet and appetite. Ready? Let's roll. Hey, Seattle Eaters! Senior producer Brandi Fullwood is in the house. Hey, Brandi.
Hey, Ton.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Brandi, when was the last time you went out for dinner?
Honestly, the last time I went out, I did go to Friendship Barbecue, which David Gutman recommended on the last Best Fights episode.
Oh, wow, you listened to the show.
Yeah. But it was really good, and it turned out to be a really great deal, and the intrigue is always a good deal because going out to dinner is starting to feel like a special occasion all the time.
Yeah, and Friendship is very approachable and affordable, and it's casual. What about, say, a $140 tasting menu? Have you gone to any of those, or are they any high-end meals?
I think I went to Ramey for their happy hour, and I splurged at Lausanne for my birthday, but neither of them were too pricey, so I guess I haven't been in a while. It's been a minute.
Okay, I kind of set you up there. You just, I would say, represent what most diners are saying across Seattle. It's like, it's too expensive to do tasting menus. It's too expensive to spend over $100 a head on dinner. And that's not just anecdotal. I contacted Open Table, the online reservation system, and they confirmed to me, so far this year, the number of high-end haunts around Seattle has pretty much suffered the most. Mm-hmm. In the industry. And the reason why, Brandi, is all that you just mentioned. People cannot afford to eat out in Seattle.
So I imagine restaurants can't afford to just have no diners. So what are they doing to fix that?
Exactly. They've tossed out the pricey tasting menus, or the prix. And listeners out there, prix is just a French way of saying multi-course fixed price, a.k.a. expensive dinner. There are actually a couple of things restaurants are doing. For instance, now that summer is over, some spots are doing all-day happy hour or family-style meals to accommodate the slower days in the fall. But one of the biggest things is, dun 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 dun, they're ditching the tasting menus altogether. They've tossed those out in favor of a more traditional a la carte format. And what that means is just pick an appetizer, pick an entree, pick a dessert.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room in the wallet for adventure eating anymore.
Brandi, you speak to the common people. I'm telling you, from someone who has interviewed a dozen chefs, especially high-end restaurants, they're saying the same thing, or they're hearing the same thing that you're saying.
Well, I received the restaurant golden tablets last night.
There you go. Brandi, with the high cost of food, the bill is not going down easy with many diners in Seattle. And so a lot of restaurants are getting rid of those menus with premium ingredients, high-level preparation or service, and instead they're adapting to a lower-cost strategy overall. And that means a cheaper menu. But change can be a good thing. I want to share some spots where a lot of industry watchers like chefs and realtors are keeping a close eye on.
Now we're in the sweet spot. News you can use. Love the formula, Ton. Let's take it restaurant by restaurant.
Let's start with Renee Erickson, one of the biggest names in the Seattle restaurant scene, a James Beard award-winning restaurateur and chef. The most expensive restaurant is Bateau on Capitol Hill. Bateau is a high-end steakhouse where a steak for two could be $200 to $250. It's dry-aged, it's marble, it's apparently magnificent. I don't have an expense account to cover something like that, but that's what people are saying.
Yeah, I'm saying it. I've actually been to Bateau. I went for a special occasion with my partner, and we definitely went the a la carte route. We ordered a smallish portion of steak and some fries, and I think it was pricey, but pretty doable. I think maybe we spent a little over $100 per person.
Yeah, that seems to be the going rate, Brandi. And guess what? Now, Bateau is closed for a reboot. What's going to happen when they reopen? You're going to see a lower price point menu, and that's where they'll emphasize their burger.
Oh, I have a few friends in the industry say that's the thing to get, the burger and the bread pudding.
And you know what? I've talked to management, and they say that they don't even put the burger in the menu for the longest time. And people are thinking, oh, that's a secret item. It's like marketing, but it's not. Because the problem is, if you put it on the menu, everyone will order that burger, and no one's going to order the $200 steak. But you can still get the $200 steak on the a la carte menu. This is what we're talking about in terms of a la carte and options. They're going to get rid of the tasting menu. Their tasting menu with wine pairing is $215.
I remember.
And instead, they're going to add another menu called the Humble Cut or the Humble Menu, where they have like smaller 4 to 5 ounce cut of hanger steak or the cheaper low-end cuts for like $25 to $35. But I think the problem with Renee Erickson in this case is Bateau is located in the Pike and Pine corridor. And like it or not, restaurants have to realize that this area is more a bar hopping area. They need to pack up and just move to North Capitol Hill, like along near Monsoon, near all these $1 million homes. That's more the demographic. So I think the problem is even bigger. But again, they have a lease. They're stuck being in Pike Pine corridor. So this is their game plan. This is their playbook. Lower end cuts, ditch the $215 menu. Is it going to work? We're going to find out. And a lot of people are watching because they do want to know how this is going to play out.
I'm actually really curious about that because that is an area with a lot of fried chicken places. There's Mount Joy and Dave's Hot. Maybe Renee will go with like something like a chicken fried steak to blend in with the rest of the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what other restaurants are pivoting that you're looking forward to?
One place that comes to mind is Tomo in White Center. It's high-end dining run by Brandi Williams, a James Beard Award-winning chef who used to be at Canlis. And what he did at Tomo was groundbreaking in a lot of ways. Well, some most creative food. I would say it's fusion, high-end fusion, New American-ish. It was farm to table to a point where if you popped in one day and you pop in the next day, the menu could be completely different. It was based on his whims, based on what he had that in his pantry, and based on what he could get that day. The menu that came out like 5 minutes before his restaurant opened was an olive oil poached sable fish served with cherries, fat wash, and sesame oil. And had a creamy kind of like heirloom beans, similar to navy beans. The combo was always different. Was it Mediterranean? Was it Asian fusion? That was his genius. Pretty much tasting menu only when he started. Great, ambitious, really exciting cuisine. It was about $100 per person, but you really never leave there on the $100 because, to use a fast food term, you supersize it. Do you want wine with that? Of course I do. Do you want to add or dry age steak? Of course I do. And next you know, my meal was $235.
Oh my gosh.
Per head. But that's how you play these games with the tasting menu. And that's what he did. And when he started, it worked out fine, Brandi. There were a long wait list. I reviewed that restaurant. It took me 5 months to review it because I needed time. I was on a wait list. So I need to go there at least 3 times. And it took me 4 to 5 months of playing with the reservation online system before I could go 3 times.
No, I believe it. I was one of those early people lured in by this kind of low-cost tasting menu. I think when they initially opened, it was a $75 tasting menu. And I was really inspired by that menu, just seeing kohlrabi or pork loin done in these really inventive ways. And I'm a little scared of the changes for them because the food was good. Yeah. I weighed the cost of it and it was a great experience, but I can see that cost creeping in for the business, for the workers, for the diners. But tell me why the change is a good thing here.
The change is a good thing in the sense that there's no longer a long waiting list when you get into Tomo. This is what we're talking about. Prefix menu, tasting menu does not jive with a lot of people anymore. And this is a case where Tomo realized that, and they were one of the first to admit like, hey, in this new reality, this does not work. So they pivot to a more, I would say, casual menu. The way he does his menu is essentially fried chicken and burgers. But But it's all semantics, right? How I think he would spin it is like these are like more Americana homage to the classic. So you have White Castle steamed burgers is what he put on the menu. You have his take on a fried chicken. But at the end of the day, what you're looking at are burgers and fried chicken.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's luring people in now with something that they're familiar with.
Familiar with, it's more approachable, and it's a cheaper price point.
Yeah, but it looks elevated, I bet.
Yes, it looks elevated, but it's a White Castle steamed burger.
Those are good.
Yes, and I should tell listeners out there, even though his tasting menu is gone, he has replaced it with a family-style dinner, which is more casual. It's $78 a head, and all the plates just come together on your table.
Okay, well, Brady has always been a fun and adventurous chef, open to pivoting. I actually remember at Canlis when he was there, he was throwing hot tub parties and doing pig roasts and collaborating with Dick's Burgers and just having fun. I get the need to shift, and I'm willing to try it.
It worked for him. It worked. I went on a Monday or Tuesday. That's the slowest night in the industry, and it was busy. And you know what? You can poo-poo his White Castle steamed burgers or not, but that's what everyone was ordering.
Now there'll be White Center steamed burgers.
Oh, boom! Brandi with the mic drop.
Dang, is this the end of the tasting menu in Seattle?
You know what? If it's not the end, it's pretty darn close to the end. Or at least a major redefinition of what tasting menu is in Seattle. But even before you go there, we should back up here and discuss why there is a tasting menu in Seattle. This started pretty much during the pandemic. There was supply issues, labor shortage, and the way that you get around all this is, tasting menu. Because with tasting menus, chefs could do more with less. Chefs had control over the menu. When there is a tasting menu and it's a table for four, you know exactly what you're going to order. Tasting menu, table for four, there's going to be 4 salads. That's a social contract. You sign up for a tasting menu. I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, your course is a salad. And so that helps with the division of labor. If it's a la carte, then it's a wild card. 4 people will not order 4 salads. You can get someone ordering soup. You can get someone ordering fried calamari. So that's a control that you have when it comes to tasting menu. You also reduce the costs and supply because with tasting menu, the chef controls pretty much the menu, not you. Because remember, it's not a la carte. So the chef controls the menu. The chef decides what you can have in your main course, what you can have as an appetizer, and what you can have with dessert. So you need fewer workers and line cooks because it's so much easy now. And keep in mind, this is 2021 when things were opening back up and people were dying to go out. So they love the theatrics of a 2 to 3 hour dinner.
I think a lot of chefs really sold me on their tasting menu stories. It's really exhausting, I imagine, to run a restaurant, try and keep up with the labor, try and come up with a new story that will bring in people. You have to be interesting, you have to be innovative, and you have to be cost effective. And one of those things has got to go. And I think the tasting menu story is just too expensive.
Yeah. People just aren't going for that anymore. That's one. And 2, they don't want to pay $185 before the wine pairing. So that's why you're seeing a dramatic shift.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing places pivot.
Okay, Ton. So to recap, there are a lot of restaurants pivoting to more familiar foods, maybe foods that immediately satisfy, but maybe can still be a little elevated with a little bit of finesse. I heard a lot of fried chicken, a lot of burgers, and I'm curious about the restaurants that have those pricey tasting menus that are pivoting, maybe ones that are still making it work with the menu they have.
Let's stay down the south end of the city with a place called Off Alley. It's in Columbia City. And Brandi, this spot is small. It's 600 square feet, narrow, really shoebox dimension. And I would say only 12 diners can eat at the same time.
So a lot of small plates.
Yes. Ha ha ha. I see what you did there. Yes, exactly. For a long time, they served nose to tail, old world style food. Lots of pate, rabbit kidneys on toast, fried veal brain, and the menu change all the time.
I actually have not been to Off Alley. It's definitely been on my list, but I've always been intimidated to go. They notoriously have a $250 tasting menu.
Yes, but that's changing, Brandi.
Yeah, tell me more.
Well, I talked to the chef, and he was telling me about how even though he has a 12-seat restaurant, there was a time when he was bringing in $8,000 to $12,000 on a Friday night.
Ooh.
That is unheard of. But he is not immune to the classic restaurant problems. High cost of labor, high cost of food. Even those organ meats that were once cheaper than steaks or lamb, they've gone up 50%.
Okay, so how's he making it work? What's the new menu strategy? Is he getting rid of a bunch of stuff?
Well, I brought this example up because this is one of the few chefs that is not pivoting his full menu. He's just getting rid of his tasting menu and that tasting menu price. But you still can get a lot of these dishes. It's a la carte. It's choose your own adventure. You mix and match, and you decide how much you want to spend. Whether it's $100 or maybe $200.
So the price is all on my ability to make good decisions.
Yes, it's all on you now, Brandi. No pressure. And it's a great deal for him, too, because people order a couple of small plates, maybe a glass of wine, and they leave within an hour. So tables turn faster, and the next person comes in. So this new reality is working out for everybody so far. So, Brandi, now that he has a lower price point, no more 2 to 3 hour dinner, we should go.
Yeah, I could squeeze you in for, maybe an hour, get a couple plates, glass of wine.
Couple plates, couple of wines, maybe a Rainier. He has Rainier beer.
Okay.
And we could be in and out in an hour for, I don't know, maybe $125.
Yeah, we'll call it a lunch break and a meeting.
There you go. We'll call it a meeting. Brandi, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for today. We have a list of all the restaurants we talked about in the description of this episode. Thanks for listening to Seattle Eats. The show is a production of the Seattle Times and KUOW, part of the NPR network. You can support Seattle Eats by investing in the local newsrooms and the specialized beats that make this type of storytelling possible. Please consider joining and subscribing at KUOW.org/eats and SeattleTimes.com. Seattle Eats is produced by Brandi Fullwood and edited by Jim Gates and Trevor Lensmeyer. I'm Tom Vinh. See you next week.